We have a situation right now developing with IO Interactive that is seemingly pushing streamers into the journal mafia to give them access in exchange for games. Yikes, bro. Scouter V says IO Interactive, Hitman 007 First Light developer, has a creator program that forces you to make content in order to get a chance of getting a review key. The more quote unquote quality content you make, the more points you get. On top of that, they quote unquote review every video, meaning you can't criticize anything or you're out. Man, that sounds a lot like Nintendo, to be honest. Do not trust anybody who is part of this program to provide meaningful, truthful content, and showcases a screenshot from their creator program. A point system. Rewards will be distributed across the contributors with the most points. All videos are subject to review and validity checks to earn points. And then down at the events here, 007 First Light Creator Challenge, which I got to be honest, that's a game that is in demand. There's a lot of people that would love to have early access to First Light. And they will do whatever it takes to get that game early so that they can get eyeballs on their channel. The higher quality and more content you make, the higher chances for you to win. This is for, we're rewarding our most dedicated partners leading up to the game's launch. Create, share, and engage for a chance to earn points to claim a full 007 First Light game key at launch. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Welcome to the IO Interactive Creator Program. Thanks for checking out the Creator Program. This is your chance to stay closely connected with everything happening across IO's world-class game lineup. If you want to be among the first to hear about new projects, announcements, trailers, demos, and creator opportunities, you're in the right place. And so I headed over to the area where it is, and it's through Keymailer, which is one of the sites I'm familiar with, and I do have an account with, but I haven't utilized in years. But this is a segment off part of it where the developer can put in their own notes on what their expectations are for content creators to cover their games, and in this case covering their other games in order to get access to their upcoming games that are in demand. And what it sounds like to me, only if it's positive coverage, which yikes. Creator content earns points, gets a copy of 007 First Light at launch. Content created between November 20th and December 5th will earn double points. And so I took this over to ChatGPT and I just copied and pasted everything on this page. And I said, does this sound like it implies the user should give a positive sentiment when covering the game? And this is the entire, just copy paste the entire page. I didn't want to leave anything out. Short answer, yes. It strongly implies that creators are expected to produce positive, promotional leaning coverage, even though they never explicitly say you must be positive. The structure and incentives of the program make the intended tone obvious. Here's why. Rewards are tied to quality and engagement, which in these programs almost always means supportive, hype building content. I actually have a question for this before I even go on. Is this even legal to do? Yes, it's legal, but it's also manipulative, ethically questionable, and borderline deceptive marketing, which is why it feels wrong. Why it's legal. Creator programs like this fall into the same category as early review codes, as long as they do not explicitly require you to lie or express positive sentiment. So they didn't explicitly say you have to be positive. Where in the line would become illegal? Only if either of these things happen. They explicitly require positive coverage. You fail to disclose that you receive perks or rewards. Why it feels shady, but still legal. The program is built around subtle pressure, not explicit commands. They use soft coercion, not direct instructions. That keeps them on the right side of the law while still shaping sentiment. This is how 90% of AAA publisher creators programs operate. Yikes. Manipulation without explicit instructions, legal. So basically, anyone who divulges that they are a part of one of these programs means they are likely not to be trusted. That is correct. Realistic conclusion. Not always, but very often. Here's why. It goes through why you cannot trust these people, which goes back to the point that we always talk about with these positively peddlers out there, the shills in the media that are always just pushing forward. Buy this game. It's great. Please give me a review code for XYZ. I really want to play this game. I showed up at this studio. I talked to these developers. I have access to them. They wonder why no one wants to listen to them because whatever they say is highly suspect. Whether or not they're actually honest or not really doesn't matter. And that's why they're so mad at us because we don't have that same aura in the community. Now, they and their group of people don't like us. They call us grifters. They call us sexist, homophobes, transphobes, whatever words they want to come up with. But the reality is that they have nothing against us. So they need to make things up. Whereas we just say, yeah, this is what I liked about it. This is what I didn't like about it. One of the reasons why I'm very hesitant to ever accept game keys, and I don't typically proactively ask game companies to send me them, unless it's something where I understand, okay, they are sending this and saying, whatever you want to do with it, have at it, Hoss. I'm like, okay, fair. That's cool because they don't care what I do with that. That's understandable. And that's something people can trust because I can say, this is a conversation I had with them. It was cool. I don't want to work with companies that do shit like this. This is a hard line. There's no gray area at all. This is sketch as fuck. The language frames creators as partners. Words like partners, collaboration, shared enthusiasm, support your content, get closer to the games, all imply a promotional role, not an independent critical one. You're being positioned as part of their marketing pipeline. By the way they write these things is gone over with a fine-tooth comb from lawyers to make sure that it is highly sus in the gray area, but technically still legal for them to be able to do. But at the end of the day, it puts your trust into question. And the currency of the internet is trust. If you can't be trusted by the community, what do you have to offer them? That's really as simple as it is, what it comes down to, which is why at least I can only speak for myself, take that very seriously. When someone tries to fool me with a fake story or things like that, I take that very personally because I know that my trust is my currency. I need to make sure I do my best to protect that trust because at the end of the day, that's all I have. I have my opinions and my perspectives and my knowledge and experience in the industry, but all of that means jack shit if no one trusts me. So the trust is everything. And it's not just me, by the way. I'm just saying I can just speak for myself. So my concern when I see shit like this is if you're a smaller creator and you're struggling to gain traction, it is very tempting to go down this path to say, I need something that puts me above the other creators. If I can have first crack at a game that people are interested in, people will come to watch my channel first. Ergo, I will get more views. It's a very delicate balance to walk that line and not lose your authenticity and trust with the community. And this preys upon the channels that are desperate for attention, ironically creating a situation where it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of the same creators that you can't trust are the ones that fall for doing this shit, which actually in a weird way kind of speaks to their trustworthiness in the first place, I guess you could say. I don't think it's a good thing for the studios to be doing this, but it is kind of how the world works. I think it's important for creators out there to recognize people know this. They notice. They understand. If you're someone that posts information about a game and then you say hashtag ad on social media or sponsored, bro, it's out the window. It's out the window at that point. It really is. But we'll see what happens with this situation. But I just want to bring this to your guys' attention because after this got shared to me by Scar V, I was just like, my goodness, this was something else. The reunion, this is a great follow, by the way. Scar V is a great follow. The reunion's a great follow. This pertains to most creator partnership programs. Nobody will come forward and talk about it, but their videos and what they say online are watched by employees. I would love for these programs to be exposed. This would explain the community and all the gaming fandoms. It really would. And honestly, it's one of those things where if you see people online getting upset at me for expressing an opinion about a game, I think it really says a lot about who they're working for at that point. But I'll leave that there.